if I told you that winning, truly winning, isn't about luck, talent, or some secret opportunity you're waiting for? What if everything you've been chasing, every ounce of success you've ever wanted, has been in your grasp all along, but you've been too distracted, too hesitant, too afraid to seize it? The truth is this: you were born to win, not just survive, not just exist, but to conquer, to create, to carve your name into the fabric of time. Yet most people will never realize it. They'll stumble through life, blind to their own potential, chained by fear, excuses, and the lies they've been fed about what they're capable of. But you're not most people. You're here because you feel it, that fire inside, that whisper in your soul that says, you were made for more. This isn't just another motivational talk. This is a call to arms, a challenge to rise above mediocrity and rewrite your story. Across these lessons, you'll uncover the truths the world doesn't want you to know. The tools to break free from limitation, the mindset to endure the battles ahead, and the strategies to build a life most only dream of. These aren't lessons for the faint of heart. They will demand your attention, your discipline, your raw, unfiltered hunger to succeed. But if you take them seriously, if you put them into action, they will change everything. So ask yourself, are you ready to step out of the shadows and into the life you were born to lead? If the answer is yes, then let's begin. Your road to victory starts now. Lesson 1. The fire within. There's a truth most people never dare to confront. A truth buried beneath the distractions of a world that tells us we're not enough. But you felt it, haven't you? That whisper in the silence, that faint ember in the depths of your soul. It says, you were born to win. Winning isn't about trophies or accolades. It isn't about the applause of others or the glittering lights of recognition. No, winning is an internal war. It's the unyielding belief that, despite the storms of doubt, despite the scars life etches into your heart, you have the power to rise. But here's the catch. Most people don't believe it. They let that ember die, suffocated by fear, by failure, by the weight of their own excuses. They shuffle through life, convinced they're meant for mediocrity, because the world has told them so, because they've told themselves so. Not you, not anymore. You see, the difference between the defeated and the victorious is simple. Belief. The belief that you are worthy of the fight. The belief that you are capable of change. The belief that you are destined for more. But belief is not a gift. It's a weapon. And like all weapons, it must be forged in the fire of discipline and sacrifice. To wield it, you must confront your shadows, your doubts, your fears. You must stand in the mirror and face the truth. Every limitation you see staring back at you is one you've chosen to accept. You were born to win, but no one is going to hand you the victory. You must tear it from the jaws of your own complacency. You must unlearn the lies you've been told about who you are and what you can achieve. And when the world tries to drown you in its noise, you must listen to that whisper within, the one that grows louder with every step you take toward your potential. The fire within you is real, but fires don't ignite themselves. It's up to you to strike the match. It's up to you to feed the flames, to keep them burning when the cold winds of doubt blow against you. Ask yourself, will you let that ember die? Will you let the world extinguish the light you were born with? Or will you fan it into a blaze so fierce it burns through every obstacle in your path? The choice is yours, and that choice will determine whether you remain chained to the life handed to you, or claim the life you were destined to create. Winning is not a result, it's a state of being, and it begins the moment you decide to believe. So, strike the match. Let the fire consume you. You were born to win. Now prove it. Lesson 2. The map to the summit. In the dark silence of your mind, where no one can see, a question lingers. Where are you going? You say you want to win, to rise, to conquer. But do you even know what that looks like? Or are you stumbling blindly, hoping the road will reveal itself, hoping luck will carve out your destiny for you? Wake up. The summit isn't waiting for you, and neither is success. There is no lottery ticket to greatness, no random twist of fate that will hand you the life you crave. There's only the map you create, the goals you set, and the ruthless discipline you summon to achieve them. But here's the brutal truth most ignore. A dream without a goal is a fantasy, and fantasies are cheap. They require nothing but idle wishes. A real goal demands clarity, action, sacrifice. It demands that you sit down with yourself and face the hard questions. What do I want? Why does it matter? And what am I willing to give up to get it? Write it down. Every goal, every step. Carve it into your soul like a soldier etches a mission into their weapon. This is your map. It's the only thing standing between you and a life of aimless wandering. Without it, you're just a drifter in the storm, blown in every direction by distraction, fear, and failure. But here's the beauty of it. The map is yours to create. No one else can do it for you, and no one else can take it away once it's yours. Still, the map alone won't save you. A map doesn't climb mountains. A map doesn't fight fatigue, or fear, or the temptation to quit. That's on you. But the map does something critical. It keeps you from losing your way when the journey gets hard. And it will get hard. There will be days when the summit seems impossible, when the weight of failure makes you want to collapse. On those days, you'll look at your map, and it will remind you of the path. The path you chose. The path you built. The path you own. You see, goals aren't just checkpoints. They're declarations of war. Every time you set a goal, you're drawing a line in the sand and daring the world to challenge you. And the world will challenge you. But if your goals are clear, if they're etched into your heart and backed by unshakable purpose, nothing can stop you. So ask yourself, do you have the courage to create the map? To be brutally honest about what you want and what it will take to get there? Or will you keep drifting, hoping that somehow, someday, success will find you? The summit is waiting, but it will not wait forever. The map is yours to draw, but only if you dare to pick up the pen. The question isn't whether you'll reach your destination. The question is whether you're bold enough to chart the course. This is your life. This is your journey. This is your map. Draw it. Follow it. Own it. And when you stand at the top of that summit, you'll know. This was no accident. Lesson 3. The shadow of your choice. Life is a battlefield, and every moment is a choice. Not a choice of what happens to you, because the world doesn't care about your plans or your comfort. No, it's a choice of how you respond. You've been told that attitude is a soft thing, a vague thing, a fleeting positivity that you're supposed to conjure up when life feels good. But they lied to you. Attitude is a weapon, a blade forged in the fire of your will. And like any weapon, it cuts both ways. It can defend you, or it can destroy you. The truth is, your attitude is the shadow that follows you through life. It doesn't leave you, doesn't abandon you when things fall apart. It grows and shifts with every decision you make. And whether that shadow is a looming darkness or a guiding light, that's on you. You think the world owes you something? You think the deck is stacked against you? Good. Because it is. The world isn't fair, and life will take every chance to break you if you let it. But here's the secret. It's not what happens to you that defines you. It's what you do with it. Attitude is a choice, and that choice is the dividing line between the defeated and the victorious. When the storm comes, and it always does, you have two paths. One, you let it drown you in bitterness, in self-pity, in excuses. Or two, you let it harden you, sharpen you, forge you into someone who stands tall, no matter how hard the wind blows. But understand this: choosing the right attitude isn't easy. It means taking responsibility, not just for your victories, but for your failures, your pain, your scars. It means looking in the mirror and owning every piece of your life, even the parts that make you bleed. Ask yourself right now, what kind of shadow are you casting? Is it the shadow of someone who fights, who adapts, who rises in the face of adversity? Or is it the shadow of someone who crumbles, who blames, who waits for someone else to fix what's broken? Here's the brutal truth: the world doesn't owe you a thing, and it never will. But your attitude? That's yours. No one can take it from you. No one can dictate it but you. And the moment you master it, the moment you choose to see every setback as a challenge, every failure as a lesson, every pain as fuel, that's the moment you become unstoppable. So choose, right now. Choose to wield your attitude like a weapon. Choose to cast a shadow that inspires fear in your obstacles and hope in your allies. Choose to control the one thing no one can ever take from you: the way you face the world. Because in the end, the world doesn't care about your excuses. It cares about your results. And your results start with your choice. What shadow will you leave behind? The answer lies in the choice you make today. Lesson 4. The strength in your circle. Look around you. Who stands at your side? Who walks the path with you? If you've never asked yourself this question, then understand this: the people around you are either building your future or burning it to the ground. Winning isn't a solo mission. It never has been. The strongest warriors, the most powerful leaders, they didn't conquer their battles alone. They built armies, not of numbers, but of loyalty, trust, and shared vision. And you must do the same. But here's the catch: most people ignore. Not everyone deserves a place in your circle. Some people will claim they're with you, but they're only there to take, to drag you down, to snuff out your fire, because they fear what you might become. These people, they're dead weight, and dead weight will sink even the strongest ship. The truth is harsh, but necessary. To build a winning life, you must first clear the battlefield. You must cut ties with those who poison your vision, who whisper doubts into your ear, who celebrate your failures more than your victories. It's not cruelty, it's survival. Because every moment you spend surrounded by the wrong people is a moment you could be building something great with the right ones. And the right ones? They're not always easy to find. They're the ones who challenge you, who call you out on your excuses, who refuse to let you settle for anything less than your best. They're the ones who push you to grow, not because they need something from you, but because they see the fire inside you and want to see it burn brighter. But relationships aren't one-sided. If you want loyalty, you must give it. If you want trust, you must earn it. And if you want to be surrounded by winners, you must be one. Your circle is a reflection of who you are. Weakness attracts weakness. Strength attracts strength. So ask yourself, who do you want by your side when the battles rage and the odds seem impossible? Who will stand with you, not just in the light of your victories, but in the shadow of your failures? And more importantly, are you worthy of standing beside them? Building your circle isn't about numbers. It's about purpose. It's about surrounding yourself with those who align with your vision, who add strength to your cause, who make you better, simply by being in your presence. And once you have that circle, protect it with everything you have. Because a strong circle is a fortress, and with the right people at your side, no force on earth can break you. The world is full of enemies, doubt, fear, failure. But the greatest enemy is the one who walks beside you while secretly holding you back. Cut them loose. Build your circle with care, because in the end, no one wins alone. And the strength of your circle will define the strength of your legacy. So choose your allies wisely, for they will help shape the life you build, or the one you destroy. Lesson 5. The power to rise. There's a truth most people never see. You cannot give what you do not have. And if you want to live a life of impact, of strength, of undeniable greatness, then first, you must grow. You must become more than you are. Because power does not come from the outside. It is forged within. Take a look at the world around you. It's full of people trying to cheat the system, looking for shortcuts, hoping to take from others what they refuse to create for themselves. But this path is a lie. You cannot fake strength. You cannot borrow greatness. And you cannot rise higher than the foundation you've built within yourself. Here's the brutal reality. Growth is painful. It strips away your comforts, exposes your weaknesses, and forces you to face the darkest parts of yourself. But that pain, that's the price of power. And if you're not willing to pay it, you have no business asking for more. Growth demands that you destroy who you were to become who you're meant to be. It means taking risks, making sacrifices, and stepping into the fire of discomfort again and again. Because every great thing you desire, every victory, every triumph, every legacy, is waiting for the person you must become, not the person you are today. But growth isn't just for you. It's for those you lead, those you love, and those who will one day look to you for strength. If you're not growing, you're not just robbing yourself. You're robbing the world of what you could be. And make no mistake, the world doesn't need more empty promises or half-hearted efforts. It needs warriors, builders, givers, people willing to bleed for something bigger than themselves. Here's the question you need to ask yourself. What am I doing today to become stronger? Not tomorrow, not when it's convenient. Today. Because every day you waste is a day you let the world pass you by. And every excuse you make is another step toward mediocrity. You have two choices. Stay the same and fade into the background, or grow and cast a shadow so large the world has no choice but to notice. But know this, growth is relentless. It doesn't care about your fears, your doubts, or your excuses. It demands everything, and it gives nothing in return, except one thing, power. And when you have that power, something incredible happens. You realize you don't need to take from the world. You become the source. You give strength because you have it. You lift others because you're unshakable. And you lead because you've done the work no one else dared to do. So, what will you choose? To stagnate in the comfort of what's easy, or to rise through the fire and become the force you were born to be? Because the truth is simple. You cannot win if you don't grow. And the only thing standing between you and the life you want is the person you refuse to become. Step into the fire, grow, rise. And then, when you've reached the heights, pull others up with you. That is the power to rise, and it's waiting for you to claim it. Lesson 6. The mirror of truth. Who are you? Strip away the titles, the masks, the lies you tell the world to keep it at a distance. Who are you when no one is watching, when the lights go out, and there's nothing left but you and the silence? That's the question most people run from their entire lives. They distract themselves, build facades, and cling to shallow identities because the truth terrifies them. But here's what they don't realize. The life you live is a direct reflection of how you see yourself. Your self-image is the mirror that shapes your reality. And if you don't master it, It will master you. You cannot consistently rise above the person you believe yourself to be. If you see yourself as weak, you'll live in weakness. If you see yourself as a failure, every step you take will lead to self-sabotage. And if you see yourself as unworthy of success, the world will agree. But here's the brutal truth, that self-image didn't appear out of nowhere. It was built piece by piece, by every moment of doubt, every word of criticism, every failure you allowed to define you. And if you don't tear it down, it will keep you shackled in mediocrity forever. It's time to shatter the mirror. Rebuilding your self-image isn't easy. It's war against your past, your fears, your limitations. It means looking into that mirror and facing every lie you've believed about yourself, every scar you've let define your worth. And then, brick by brick, you rebuild. You carve out a new vision of who you are, not based on who you've been, but on who you're becoming. Here's where most people fail. They wait for the world to validate them. They wait for someone else to tell them they're worthy, they're capable, they're enough. But the world doesn't owe you that. And even if it gave it to you, it wouldn't matter. Because the only validation that lasts, the only belief that shapes your destiny, is the belief you forge within yourself. Ask yourself, who do I need to become to live the life I want? Not who you are now. Not who the world expects you to be. Who do you need to become? And then, every single day, you step into that vision. You act, you speak, you think as that person would, until one day, you don't have to act anymore. You are them. But understand this, the mirror never lies. It will show you every weakness, every flaw, every failure. And that's not a bad thing. That's where the work begins. Because every time you confront those cracks and choose to rebuild instead of retreat, you grow stronger. And one day, you'll look into that mirror and see something unbreakable staring back. So here's your choice. Let the mirror define you, or use it to redefine yourself. Stay shackled to the person you've been, or become the person you were born to be. The world reflects what you project. Change the mirror, and you'll change your life. Because when you see yourself as unstoppable, the world will have no choice but to agree. Lesson 7. The chains you forge. Every action you take, every decision you make, every habit you nurture, it's a link in a chain. And whether that chain anchors you to mediocrity or pulls you toward greatness is entirely up to you. Habits are the architects of your life, not your intentions, not your dreams, and certainly not your excuses. The truth is brutal. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your habits. And if your habits are weak, inconsistent, or destructive, they will drag you down no matter how bright your ambitions burn. But here's the part. No one tells you. Habits aren't just actions. They're reflections of who you are. The way you show up every day reveals the truth about what you believe you deserve. Do you sleep through the alarm? Do you skip the work? Do you chase the quick fix instead of building something lasting? Those aren't just choices, they're statements. They're the chains you're choosing to carry. But chains can be broken. To forge habits that pull you toward greatness, you have to confront the hard truth. Change doesn't happen overnight. It's slow. It's relentless. It's the small, seemingly insignificant decisions you make every single day. It's choosing discipline over comfort, choosing effort over ease, choosing progress over perfection. The world is full of people waiting for motivation to strike, hoping for some magical force to carry them forward. But motivation is fleeting, a spark that dies as quickly as it ignites. Discipline is the fire you control. It's showing up when you don't want to. It's grinding when no one is watching. It's doing the hard things, not because they feel good, but because they need to be done. Here's a question for you. What habits are you building today? Not tomorrow. Not when it's convenient. Today. Are they habits that serve your future or sabotage it? Because every choice you make is either strengthening the chain that holds you back or building the one that pulls you forward. Habits don't care about your excuses. They don't care about your reasons, they care about consistency. They care about the actions you repeat so often they become a part of you. And once they do, they're unstoppable, either in dragging you down or lifting you up. So decide. Will you keep forging the chains of mediocrity, letting each lazy decision weigh you down? Or will you forge the chains of discipline, strength, and progress that will pull you toward the life you say you want? The truth is harsh but simple. Your habits are your destiny. Master them, and you'll master yourself. Ignore them, and they will enslave you. The choice is yours. Start today. Start small, but start relentlessly. Because the chains you forge now will determine whether you rise to greatness or stay shackled in mediocrity forever. Lesson 8. The Relentless Pursuit. There's a truth most won't admit. Success doesn't come to the strongest, the smartest, or the luckiest. It comes to the ones who refuse to quit. It comes to the ones who see the wall in front of them and keep hitting it until it crumbles. It comes to the relentless. Persistence is the sharpest weapon in your arsenal. It's not flashy, and it's not easy. But it's the one thing that separates those who dream from those who achieve. Because in the end, talent fades. Motivation dies. But persistence endures. Here's the brutal reality. The world doesn't care about your dreams. Life will test you, break you, and laugh at your struggles. It will throw failure after failure at your feet, waiting to see if you'll give up. And most do. They hit one roadblock, one setback, one taste of defeat, and they fold. But not you. Not anymore. Persistence is a choice, and it's made every single day. It's not about charging forward blindly. It's about enduring when the path gets hard, when the rewards feel distant, and when every fiber of your being screams for you to quit. It's about adapting, recalibrating, and attacking again, no matter how many times you fall. But here's the truth most people miss. Persistence isn't just about effort. It's about vision. It's about knowing why you're fighting, what you're fighting for, and refusing to let that vision slip away. Without a clear purpose, persistence crumbles under pressure. But with purpose, it becomes unstoppable. Ask yourself, how badly do you want this? Because if the answer is anything less than everything, you'll quit when it gets hard. You'll settle when the struggle feels too steep. And you'll watch someone else take the life that could have been yours. But if you want it, truly want it, then you need to decide now that nothing will stop you. Not failure, not fear, not time. Persistence is not about speed. It's about consistency. It's about showing up day after day, even when progress feels invisible. Because every step you take, no matter how small, brings you closer to your goal. Here's the secret. The only way to truly fail is to stop. As long as you're still fighting, still moving, still trying, you're winning. And every time you rise after a fall, every time you push through the pain, you're building something far more valuable than success. You're building resilience. So, what will it be? Will you let life beat you into submission? Or will you fight back with everything you have, again and again, until the world has no choice but to yield? Persistence is your weapon. Wield it ruthlessly, because the ones who refuse to quit are the ones who win. And if you keep going, no matter how many times you fall, You will prove what the world didn't want to believe. You cannot be stopped. Lesson 9. Faith as your fortress. In the darkest moments, when the world feels like it's closing in and every step forward feels like dragging a mountain, there's only one thing that will carry you through: faith. Not the fleeting kind, not blind hope, but a deep, unshakable belief in yourself, in your purpose, and in the path you're walking. Faith is your fortress. It shields you when doubt threatens to consume you. It anchors you when fear whispers in your ear. And it lights your way when the road ahead is cloaked in shadow. Without it, you are defenseless, adrift in the storm, at the mercy of every obstacle, every failure, every sneer from a world that says, you can't. But faith is not handed to you. It must be built, brick by brick, through the choices you make and the actions you take. It starts with one truth. You are here for a reason. You are not an accident, and neither are your dreams. They were planted in you because you have the power to make them real. Here's the harsh reality. The world will try to break your faith. It will throw setbacks, betrayals, and failures in your path. It will make you question whether you're strong enough, smart enough, or even deserving. And when you're at your weakest, when the weight of it all feels unbearable, you'll face the ultimate test. Do you still believe? Most people don't. They let the fire of faith flicker out, smothered by the voices of their fears and the opinions of others. But those who do believe, those who keep the flame alive, they are the ones who rise. They are the ones who stand tall when the storm finally passes, unbroken and undeniable. Faith isn't passive. It's not sitting back and hoping everything will fall into place. Faith is action. It's moving forward even when the path is unclear. It's speaking victory over your life even when defeat seems inevitable. It's refusing to give up, not because you can see the finish line, but because you know it's there. Ask yourself, do you have that kind of faith? Do you trust yourself enough to keep going when logic says stop? Do you believe in your purpose enough to endure the pain, the uncertainty, the long nights of doubt? Because if you don't, no one else will. Faith starts with you, and once you have it, nothing can take it from you. Here's the secret most never understand. Faith doesn't remove the struggle. It doesn't make the journey easier, but it gives you the strength to endure, to rise, and to fight until the struggle becomes the story of your triumph. So, build your fortress. Strengthen your faith. Protect it fiercely, because the world will test it at every turn. And when the day comes that you stand victorious, you'll look back and realize it wasn't the talent, the resources, or the luck that got you there. It was the belief that burned inside you, even when everything else tried to put it out. Faith is your foundation. Faith is your weapon. Faith is your fortress. And if you hold on to it, nothing can stand in your way. Lesson 10. The legacy you leave. The clock is ticking. Every second, every breath, every choice you make, it's shaping the mark you'll leave behind. The question isn't whether you'll leave a legacy. You will. The question is, what kind of legacy will it be? Most people stumble through life, chasing distractions, clinging to comfort, and living as if they have all the time in the world. But time doesn't care about your illusions. It doesn't pause for your excuses or slow down for your regrets. It marches forward, relentless, unforgiving. And one day, sooner than you think, your time will run out. When it does, what will you have to show for it? Will your life echo with purpose, strength, and impact? Or will it fade into obscurity, forgotten like a whisper in the wind? Here's the brutal truth. Legacy is not built in the spotlight. It's forged in the shadows of your daily choices. Every action you take, every habit you build, every word you speak, it's contributing to the story of your life. and the world will remember that story, whether you like it or not. But legacy isn't about fame or recognition. It's not about how many people know your name. It's about the lives you've touched, the strength you've inspired, the ripple effect of your existence. It's about standing for something bigger than yourself and daring to leave the world stronger than you found it. And make no mistake, building a legacy requires sacrifice. It demands that you stop living for the moment and start living for the mission. It means saying no to distractions, no to mediocrity, no to the easy path. Because every time you give in to the temporary, you're stealing from the eternal. Ask yourself, what do I stand for? What will the world remember me for? These aren't questions to ponder someday. They're questions to act on today. Because legacy isn't something you create at the end of your life. It's something you build every single day. But here's the truth. Most people miss. Legacy doesn't have to be loud. It doesn't have to be grand. Sometimes, the most powerful legacies are the quiet ones. The kindness that changes a life. The resilience that inspires a generation. The strength that reminds others to keep going. So what will it be? Will you waste your days chasing comfort, leaving nothing behind but regrets? Or will you rise every day with the intention to make your life matter? The choice is yours. The clock is ticking. And when it stops, the only thing that will remain is the shadow of the life you lived. Make it count. Live with purpose. Build with intention. And when your time is up, let the world look at your life and say, this is what it means to leave a legacy. And now, the choice is yours. You've heard the lessons, uncovered the truths, and stared into the mirror of who you are and who you could become. But knowing isn't enough. The world isn't changed by thoughts or dreams. It's changed by action. The question is simple. What will you do with what you've learned? Will you let these lessons fade, lost to the noise of a distracted life? Or will you take them, use them, and transform yourself into the unstoppable force you were always meant to be? You were born to win, but winning isn't handed to you. It's earned in the moments no one sees, in the battles no one fights but you, in the relentless pursuit of something greater than yourself. Every step forward, every habit built, every challenge overcome is a brick in the foundation of your legacy. The clock is ticking. Your time is now. This is your chance to rise, to break free from mediocrity, and to build a life that echoes long after you're gone. The lessons have been laid before you. The fire has been lit. Now it's up to you to fan the flames. So stand tall, move forward, and when the world looks back, let them see the undeniable truth. This is what it means to be born to win. Now go, prove it.